History is often told through kings and battles, but the real story is survival, the fight against hunger. When famine strikes, the very idea of food changes. Starvation foods, grasses, bark, insects, become lifelines. These desperate meals aren't found in cookbooks, they're born of necessity and resilience. Across continents and centuries, people have survived by making the inedible edible, sharing knowledge and refusing to give up. We'll explore how hope and ingenuity turned bark into bread and weeds into soup. This is not just a history of hunger, but a tribute to the unbreakable human spirit. In the early 1300s, a period marked by significant climatic shifts, Europe found itself on the brink of disaster. Relentless rains and almost biblical deluge triggered the Great Famine across Europe, a catastrophe that would test the very limits of human endurance. Fields flooded, crops rotted in the ground, and grain vanished beneath the rising waters, leaving communities with nothing to sustain themselves. The staple crops, wheat and barley, were decimated. With traditional food sources depleted, people turned to the wild, desperately foraging for anything edible to stave off starvation. The forests and fields became hunting grounds for survival. Famine bread, a coarse, unappetizing concoction made from acorns, tree bark and straw, became a grim reality. This bread, barely digestible and offering minimal nutritional value, became the staple, a testament to the desperation of the times, yet vital for clinging to life. Roots, weeds and even the inner layers of tree bark, normally discarded, were boiled for hours, sometimes days, in an attempt to break down their tough fibers and render them even remotely edible. Ponds were scoured for frogs, newts, and any insects that could be found. Every scrap of protein, no matter how small or unappetizing, mattered in the fight against starvation. Some, in their utter desperation, ate their seed grain, a decision that sacrificed the future harvest for immediate, albeit temporary, survival. Yet even in the face of such despair, communities found strength in unity, sharing hard-won knowledge about which roots or barks could be safely eaten and which were poisonous. The Great Famine stands as a stark and harrowing reminder of civilization's fragility and the incredible ingenuity and resilience that can be born from the depths of desperation. Survival during this dark period meant turning to nature's last, most bitter and unpromising offerings, a testament to the will to live. In Ireland, the potato blight struck. Crops failed, hunger spread. For many, potatoes were the only food. When they vanished, famine began. People foraged for nettles, dandelions and seaweed, anything to survive. Bitter soups and wild plants offered little nourishment. But hope endured. Malnutrition and disease spread quickly. Families suffered and split apart. Yet even in darkness, people shared what little they had and searched for help. The famine scarred Ireland, but resilience and hope survived. War turns food into a weapon, as seen in the siege of Leningrad during World War II. For nearly 900 days, rations dwindled to bread made mostly of sawdust, floor sweepings and paste. People boiled leather, scraped grease from machinery, and extracted oil from glue to survive. Pets, rats, and even crows disappeared as every living thing became food. Parks were stripped bare for anything edible. Hunger was constant, but so was the will to endure. Citizens learned to identify edible weeds and extract vitamins from pine needles. Even as the city starved, music and lectures continued, a defiant stand against despair. Leningrad's story is one of wartime cruelty, but also of astonishing resilience. In the Soviet Union under Stalin's rule, famine was not merely a natural disaster, it was weaponized, deliberately used as a tool of political repression. The state controlled food supplies, and access to sustenance became a matter of life and death, dictated by loyalty and obedience to the regime. This brutal strategy was implemented with devastating effect, nowhere more so than in Ukraine's Holodomor, the hunger extermination, and within the vast network of the Gulag camps stretching across the Soviet Union. These were places where survival was a daily battle against starvation and despair. With fertile lands stripped bare and food confiscated by the authorities, Ukrainians were left to scavenge for anything edible. They survived on weeds, desperately searching for sustenance in a landscape of deprivation. Even tree leaves, normally discarded, became a precious commodity, offering a meager source of nourishment in the face of starvation. They resorted to creating makeshift bread, a testament to their resilience, using whatever they could find. Potato peels, normally discarded, and even nettles, a plant most would avoid. To supplement their meager diets, they hunted mice and birds, small creatures that offered a precious bit of protein in a world of scarcity. They foraged for mushrooms, carefully identifying edible varieties in a desperate attempt to avoid poisoning and find sustenance. They ate whatever the authorities missed, any overlooked scrap that could provide a few more calories to stave off starvation. In the brutal world of the Gulag, rations were deliberately tied to impossible work quotas, creating a system where prisoners were forced to push themselves to the brink of exhaustion just to receive a starvation diet. Facing scurvy and other vitamin deficiencies, resourceful prisoners brewed pine needle tea, a desperate attempt to extract vital vitamin C from the surrounding wilderness. They even caught fish with threads painstakingly pulled from their own prison clothes, demonstrating an incredible level of ingenuity and determination in the face of starvation. Every scrap of food, no matter how small or insignificant it seemed, was both a risk to obtain and a triumph over the system designed to starve them. Survival meant learning from each other, sharing meager resources, and passing down knowledge of edible plants and makeshift tools. It meant risking everything: punishment, imprisonment, even death, for the chance to gather a few more calories, a desperate gamble against the odds. These stories, harrowing as they are, reveal both the depths of cruelty to which a totalitarian regime can sink, but they also showcase the heights of human resourcefulness, the incredible ability of people to adapt, innovate, and find ways to survive even in the most extreme circumstances. Even in systems specifically designed to dehumanize and destroy, people found ways to persist, to maintain their dignity, and to offer each other support. In the face of unimaginable suffering, the will to survive became more than just a biological imperative. It became an act of defiance, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Starvation foods demand more than willpower, they require hard-won knowledge. Many famine foods are toxic or indigestible unless carefully prepared, like acorns that must be leached of tannins. People became folk chemists, learning to detoxify roots and make wild plants edible. The process was laborious, but every successful meal was a victory. Hunger brought constant stress and sorrow, but also moments of hope. Each patch of edible weeds or batch of leached acorns was proof that survival was possible. The act of preparing these meals was both a ritual of endurance and a reminder of all that had been lost, yet hope persisted in every small triumph over hunger. The history of starvation foods is a sobering lesson in human vulnerability and resilience. These stories remind us that food security is fragile, and survival often depends on ingenuity and cooperation. People became botanists and chemists, transforming the inedible into sustenance. Famine could breed suspicion, but also compassion, sharing rations, knowledge, and care. The spirit of endurance shines in acts of solidarity, from Leningrad's musicians to Irish mothers. Our ancestors' struggles are a humbling reminder of comforts we now take for granted. Their ingenuity and compassion are legacies we must remember. The story of starvation foods is ultimately a tribute to the enduring human spirit.